All right, so get this, you guys. Someone sent in this clip from Ms. Miswaki Tancredi
Oh, yeah, I know her.
about, signs that a breakthrough is like right around the corner.
Right.
10 of them to be exact. And
Wow.
I think that's going to be a really interesting deep dive today because,
Mhm.
you're really into personal growth. And I know Ms. Tancredi has a huge following online for all
Yeah.
this spiritual stuff. So,
Yeah, and it's interesting how she frames it almost like, prophetic signals,
yeah.
like something big's about to change in your life.
Right.
But what I like is she doesn't just like lay it all out as fact.
Right.
It's more about like encouraging people to really think about it in their own lives.
Yeah. Okay, so first sign, this one might surprise you a little bit.
Yeah.
People leaving your life.
Ooh, that'll make you stop and think, right?
For sure. For sure.
She talks about like Abraham and Lot in the Bible,
Oh, interesting.
how they, went their separate ways. And she's really emphasizing that it's not always a bad thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's like less about you losing them and more about them losing you.
Okay, so what does that even mean for someone who's like,
Right.
about to have a breakthrough?
Well, it's like a time for some serious self-reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about your own life for a second. Like, are there relationships that just, I don't know, they feel draining?
Yeah.
They're kind of holding you back from what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It can be tough letting go, but sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah.
Make space for something better,
Yeah.
healthier connections that actually help you grow.
It's like clearing out the clutter.
Exactly. Out with the old, in with the new, right?
It really is, though.
It really is, though.
Okay,
Like, sometimes the toughest goodbyes
oh, I know.
lead to the most beautiful new beginnings.
Absolutely. And it all ties back to that idea that personal growth isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you let go of, too.
Okay, so sign number 2 is
Yeah.
a little more, I don't know, how should I put this?
A little mystical. Yeah. Yeah, a little mystical, an irresistible urge to pray, especially between 3 and 5 in the morning.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Tancredi thinks that's like a direct call from, a higher power.
Right.
But even if you're not, like, super religious, there's something about those quiet hours before everyone else is up.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you wake up without an alarm, and you just feel drawn to connect with something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Could be prayer, could be meditation, could be writing in a journal, anything that gets you in touch with your,
Intuition.
yeah, and helps you kind of set your intentions for the day.
There's research that even secular mindfulness practices can have those same effects as traditional prayer, like calming the nervous system,
Oh, for sure.
boosting well-being, all that.
So maybe it's less about who you're connecting with
Mm-hmm.
and more about the act of connecting itself.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And that just shows how these signs can have like different layers of meaning depending on your own, beliefs and experiences.
Okay, sign number 3 is all about temptation.
Uh-oh.
And Ms. Tancredi, she doesn't mess around with this one. Like,
Nope.
she basically says the closer you are to a breakthrough, the more tempted you'll be to, like, stray from the path.
She does not sugarcoat it.
No, not at all.
But I think she's trying to tell us that we need to be extra careful during these, times of change.
Like, you're about to achieve something amazing,
Right.
but those old habits are still hanging around.
Lurking in the shadows, waiting to trip you up.
Oh, I love that analogy, lurking in the shadows. Like, we self-sabotage right before a big win.
Mm-hmm. Like we're almost afraid of success.
Yeah.
It's almost like a test, Can you resist those quick fixes?
The easy way out.
Yeah, and stay focused on what really matters.
Okay, this next one I'm really interested in.
Okay, shoot.
Confirmations in dreams.
Oh, yeah.
What does she say about this?
She believes that those like super vivid dreams, especially the ones with, symbols that keep coming back, they can be like messages from our subconscious, pointing us towards where we're supposed to be going.
Interesting.
She mentions things like climbing mountains, sailing across the ocean, putting out fires, and all these symbols of overcoming obstacles and achieving a breakthrough.
But dreams are so subjective, right?
They are.
Like, how do you know if you're just having a random dream about bees and honey, or if it actually means,
Right.
you're about to come into some money, like she says?
Well, that's where the personal reflection comes in.
Okay.
It's not about finding some dream dictionary and like looking everything up,
Yeah.
It's about noticing what really speaks to you on a deeper level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Have you ever had a dream that felt like super real
Totally.
and it just stayed with you?
Oh, yeah.
Like it had some deeper meaning.
Oh my gosh, just the other week, I had this dream. It was so weird. I was in this like huge library,
Yeah.
like just towering bookshelves everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for this one specific book, but I couldn't for the life of me remember the title.
Oh, no.
And it felt like the answer to this problem I've been having was in that book.
Interesting. That's a powerful image. You know,
It was.
the library is knowledge. The missing book, like a missing piece you're searching for.
It really felt like that.
Sounds like your subconscious was trying to tell you something.
It's funny you say that because that leads right into sign number 5.
Okay.
It's all about trusting your gut, that intuitive knowing that something big's about to happen.
It's Tancredi. She believes this goes way beyond logic.
Right.
It's that feeling you get like deep down,
Yeah.
you're on the right track, even if you don't know why.
Yeah, I think we've all had those moments where something just feels right,
Totally.
even if it doesn't make sense on paper.
Mm-hmm. But how do you know if it's like wishful thinking
Right.
or real intuition?
That's the big question.
Right. I think it comes down to paying attention to those little cues,
Okay.
those whispers of wisdom that get drowned out by everything else going on.
It's like our intuition is this quiet little voice
It is.
that we have to really listen for.
And it might be telling you to do something that, goes against what you normally do or
Yeah.
what other people are saying.
Yeah, and it's hard.
It is, but the more you tune into it,
Mm-hmm.
the more you trust it, the stronger it gets.
Like a muscle you got to exercise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it becomes like this internal compass.
I love that.
Helps you navigate through life.
So sign number 6 really resonated with me.
Oh, tell me about it.
Increased generosity.
Oh, that's a good one.
She believes that the closer you are to a breakthrough,
Yeah.
the more you'll want to give back.
There's something really powerful about giving, isn't there?
There is.
Whether it's your time, money, even just a kind word.
Yeah.
Like there's actual research on this.
Really?
Generosity, it lights up the reward centers in your brain.
No way.
Releases endorphins, makes you feel good.
That makes sense.
So maybe it's not just about making room for blessings, like she says. It's also about creating this positive feedback loop
Interesting.
within yourself.
Yeah, so when you give from a place of abundance,
Right.
it makes you feel even more abundant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reinforces that you have enough to share.
And then it inspires other people to do the same.
It's like a ripple effect.
It really is.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Okay, so this next sign, I'm a little skeptical.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Seeing prophetic numbers.
Uh,
Is it just me or is that...
what do you think? Confirmation bias?
Yeah, maybe.
Or something more?
I don't know.
Well, she thinks it's like divine communication.
Okay.
Seeing those repeating numbers.
Like 11.11, 333.
Exactly.
I see those all the time.
Yeah. But even if you don't buy into the whole numerology thing,
Right.
it's worth paying attention to patterns, synchronicities.
It does feel like the universe is trying to tell us something sometimes.
It does, doesn't it?
Like those little winks.
Exactly. It's like a reminder to pay attention, to look beyond the surface.
Okay, sign number 8. I think we've all been here.
Yeah, what is it?
Facing intense challenges.
Uh-huh.
She actually says that these challenges are a sign you're on the right path,
Right.
but you're in the middle of a tough transition.
It's like they say, if you're going through hell, keep going.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Sometimes those tough times, they're actually pushing us towards something better.
It's like the universe is testing you.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
are you really committed to this?
Exactly. And it makes you dig deep.
Find that inner strength.
You didn't even know you had.
Like forging steel in fire.
That's a good one. Makes those tough times seem a little more worthwhile,
Like they're serving a purpose.
Exactly. It's not about avoiding the challenges. It's about learning to navigate them,
Gracefully.
with resilience, believing that you can overcome anything.
Okay, sign number 9.
Okay.
Feeling like you've outgrown your current situation.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Could be your job, a relationship.
Even a physical space.
Yeah, it's that feeling of restlessness.
Right. Like you're meant for something more.
And sometimes that
And it
discomfort.
pushes you to make a change.
We've all been there, right? Feeling stuck.
Oh, for sure.
Knowing something needs to change.
But not knowing what or how.
It's unsettling, but she's saying it's a good sign.
It is. It means you're evolving.
Yeah.
Your soul's craving more.
It's like you're too big for the container you're in.
Exactly. Time to break free.
And sometimes that means letting go of things that are comfortable.
Even if it's scary.
Okay, last one.
All right, hit me.
Facing rejection.
Oh, that one's tough.
I know.
But she says to see it not as a failure,
Okay.
but as redirection.
It's hard to see it that way when it's happening, though.
Oh, I know.
But I guess it could be an opportunity for growth.
It is. It's about changing your perspective, right?
Hmm.
From like, what's wrong with me to what's this trying to teach me?
Maybe that closed door is leading to something better.
When one door closes.
Another one opens.
Exactly. And sometimes that new door
Mhm.
leads to something amazing.
Okay, so we went through all 10 signs.
We did.
This has been fascinating.
What stood out to you?
I think the main thing is this idea of, like, taking control.
Oh, yeah. Personal agency.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's basically saying, don't just wait for fate to happen.
Take charge.
Right. Make things happen.
And I love how she talks about challenges as like stepping stones.
Right. Like those tough times, they're actually helping us grow.
It's empowering, isn't it?
It is.
Knowing you have the power to shape your own life.
Even if things get tough.
Exactly.
I think these signs can resonate with everyone, not just people who are super spiritual.
Right. You can interpret them in different ways.
Like the urge to pray, maybe it's just a need for quiet time.
Or introspection.
Seeing prophetic numbers.
Maybe it's about noticing patterns.
And facing challenges.
That's just part of being human.
So even if you don't agree with everything she says.
There's still something to learn.
Yeah, those themes of growth, resilience, transformation.
Everyone can relate to that.
Speaking of transformation,
How?
what I found really interesting was her emphasis on intuition.
That inner knowing.
Yeah, like in a world where everyone's telling us to be logical,
Right.
it's refreshing to hear someone say, trust your gut.
It's a reminder that sometimes our hearts and minds know things before we're even consciously aware of them.
It's about being open to possibilities.
Exactly. If we're too rigid in our thinking, we might miss out on something amazing.
She also talks a lot about letting go.
Oh, yeah. Letting go of people,
Yeah.
situations that aren't serving you anymore.
Sometimes that's necessary.
It is, to make space for something new.
It's hard, though.
It is, but those endings,
They can lead to beautiful beginnings.
they can. And she talks about divine timing, too.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The idea that things happen when they're supposed to,
Okay.
even if it's not on our schedule.
It's like surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
Right.
Exactly. Trusting the process.
Even when we don't understand it.
Now, I know some people might be like,
Skeptical.
yeah, these are just coincidences.
Right.
But I think it's good to keep an open mind.
Even if we don't take every sign literally
They can still teach us something
about ourselves.
about life
Ultimately, it's about finding meaning in our experiences.
and using that to create the life you want.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Ms. Tancredi kind of hints at these deeper meanings behind prophetic numbers,
Right.
but she doesn't really go into detail publicly.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Is it like a sensitive topic?
Well, numerology can be a little mysterious
Okay.
with different interpretations, and some of those interpretations can get a little out there,
Right.
especially online where things can get, misconstrued. What are your thoughts on free will versus destiny?
Oh, that's a big one.
It is. Like, if these signs are prophetic,
Right.
does that mean our path is already set?
Or do we have a choice?
Yeah, like where does free will come in?
I think it's a combination of both,
Okay.
Like we might encounter certain things that nudge us in a direction,
Mm-hmm.
but we still have the power to decide how we respond.
So it's not about passively waiting for things to happen.
No, it's about actively engaging with the opportunities and challenges that come your way.
And taking responsibility for our choices.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to her main message, the power of personal transformation.
Whether you believe in the signs literally or not,
It's about recognizing that we can change,
grow, evolve,
create the life we want.
and that's a message that everyone can get behind.
So you mentioned earlier that Ms. Tancredi often uses stories from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk more about that connection between those stories and personal breakthroughs?
Well, in a lot of spiritual traditions,
Okay.
personal growth is seen as a transformational journey.
Right.
Like you're going through a process of change,
Mhm.
becoming more enlightened, more spiritually aware.
So those biblical stories are like metaphors for our own journeys.
Exactly. Like the story of Joseph
Mm-hmm.
shows how rejection can actually lead to something great.
Okay.
And Abraham leaving his home,
Yeah.
that's like a symbol of taking a leap of faith
Stepping outside your comfort zone.
to pursue your dreams.
Those stories are still relevant today.
Timeless wisdom, right?
They remind us that even when things are hard,
We can still overcome obstacles and achieve breakthroughs.
it's not enough to just believe in something.
You have to put in the work,
Make it happen.
manifest your dreams.
So we've been talking a lot about Ms. Tancredi's ideas,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, from your perspective, what are some other key things to keep in mind when it comes to personal development?
Ooh, good question. I think self-awareness is huge.
Like knowing yourself, your strengths and weaknesses,
Exactly. You got to know where you're starting from.
to figure out where you want to go.
Right. And then you can set goals and, take action.
And it's important to remember that growth is a journey.
Not a destination.
It's ongoing. There's always more to learn.
New challenges, new levels of understanding.
It's about embracing the process.
Knowing that setbacks are part of it.
And as Ms. Tancredi says, even rejection can be a redirection.
Pushing you towards your true purpose.
Another thing that's really important.
Yeah.
Having a growth mindset.
Oh, tell me about it.
Embracing challenges, viewing setbacks as temporary.
Instead of giving up.
It's about believing that you can improve.
That you can learn and grow.
And, breakthroughs don't have to be these huge, life-altering events.
Sometimes they're small, quiet moments.
But they're still significant.
It's about celebrating those small wins.
Recognizing that progress is progress.
No matter how small.
And even when you don't see results right away,
You got to keep going.
stay committed to your growth.
One last thing I want to add.
Yeah.
The importance of having a support system.
People who believe in you.
Mentors, therapists, friends, family.
A community that lifts you up.
They can make all the difference.
It's true. We don't have to go through this alone.
There are resources out there.
Reach out for help when you need it.
And be that support for others.
It's a two-way street.
We grow together.
So, Ms. Tancredi focuses a lot on the individual.
Right.
But do you think personal breakthroughs can lead to bigger changes?
Like societal transformation.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. When individuals grow and evolve, it changes how they interact with the world.
Their values, beliefs, actions.
It all starts to reflect that inner transformation.
So personal growth can be a catalyst for social change.
Exactly. As more people embrace growth and development.
It creates a shift in consciousness.
And that can lead to positive changes in our communities and society.
And vice versa.
Right? Social movements can inspire individuals to grow.
It's a beautiful cycle.
A dance between the individual and the collective.
Now, Ms. Tancredi talks about the importance of intuition.
That inner voice.
But it's so hard to hear that voice sometimes.
With all the noise of the world.
Exactly. So how do we quiet the noise?
And tune into our intuition. That's like, how do we turn down the volume on all the distractions and really listen to what's inside,
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
Well, one thing that really helps is creating space for stillness.
Okay.
Like in our lives, we're so busy.
Always on the go.
Exactly. And we're constantly bombarded with information.
From our phones, social media.
Everything. So it's easy to lose touch with ourselves.
For sure.
But even just a few minutes a day
Yeah.
of meditation,
Mindfulness,
spending time in nature.
it can make a big difference.
Huge difference.
It's like giving ourselves permission to just be
Right. To disconnect from the outside world.
and reconnect with our inner world.
That's where the magic happens.
And that's when our intuition can speak to us.
It can finally break through the noise.
Now, Ms. Tancredi mentioned something else that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah, what's that?
She says that sometimes when we're on the verge of a breakthrough, we might face resistance.
Oh, yeah, from other people.
Like people close to us.
It can be tough.
It can be really hard.
Because not everyone's going to be happy for you.
Right.
Especially if your growth challenges them in some way.
Or threatens their comfort zone.
Exactly. So what do we do?
That's a good question. How do we handle those situations?
Well, I think it's crucial to have a strong support system.
People who understand,
Believe in you.
who celebrate your growth.
Even when it's hard for them.
They're the ones who will be there for you.
Through the ups and downs.
So we've talked a lot about change.
Embracing the unknown?
But for a lot of people, change is scary.
It is. It's intimidating.
So how do we overcome that fear?
Well, what if we thought about fear differently?
Okay.
Instead of seeing it as a bad thing.
Yeah.
What if it was a sign that something amazing was about to happen?
Like a signal that we're on the right track.
Exactly. It's still scary,
Right.
but it's also exciting,
And it's important to remember that change is going to happen anyway.
whether we like it or not.
So we might as well embrace it.
With an open mind,
And a sense of adventure.
that's the spirit.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Ms. Tancredi's 10 signs, what are some key takeaways you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I think the biggest one is that we're all on a journey
Of growth.
of transformation.
And there are signs all around us.
If we're paying attention,
Those signs can guide us.
help us make sense of things.
But breakthroughs don't always happen overnight.
They take time,
Effort.
consistency,
It's about the journey.
not just the destination.
So we have to celebrate the small wins.
Learn from our setbacks.
And most importantly,
Trust our...
our intuition. our inner wisdom.
We have the power to create the life we want.
That's a beautiful message.
And it's true for everyone.
Now, you mentioned earlier that we could flip the script.
Oh, yeah, instead of waiting for the signs.
What if we actively created the conditions for breakthroughs to happen?
I like that, being proactive.
Yeah, taking control.
So instead of waiting for external validation,
we become the architects of our own destiny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if we focused on cultivating a growth mindset?
Prioritizing our well-being.
Building strong relationships.
That would create a fertile ground for breakthroughs.
Absolutely. We become more attuned to the signs.
And more confident in our ability to make things happen.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Where our intentions and actions lead to transformation.
We have more power than we think.
So to our listeners out there, I want you to ask yourselves,
what can you do today
to cultivate those conditions for breakthroughs in your own life?
What seeds can you plant that will blossom into something amazing?
Remember, personal growth is an adventure.
Embrace the journey.
Trust your gut.
And never stop believing in the power of transformation.
That's it for this deep dive. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep believing in the power of breakthroughs.